In this video, I am going to share with you an insight with one of my clients, my recovered clients, and she had an emergency and we had to get on a call today because she had a binge. So we've been working together now for 6 weeks, and she had an amazing breakthrough on our first session, and she literally stopped binge eating the moment we finished the session together. We dug up some really, really deep stuff during our session, and it's just been going stronger and stronger every day. Miraculous things have been happening. She'd been suffering a lot with pains in her leg, and all sorts of things have been happening with her body transforming. She's had a lot of weight to lose. She's a large lady, and she knows she's large, and part of the things that motivated her to change is because she had been suffering from destructive eating behaviors for over 50 years. And she's basically had enough. She tried everything, diets, therapy, all these different modalities, and nothing has worked for her. And even though she knows how to eat healthily, what to eat, obviously when those binge moments come along, they all get thrown out the window, and she's left with just this overwhelming compulsion, and then she follows through. So she came to me at her breaking point, like, that's it, I've had enough. And I'd have to say, all of my clients that have come to me usually are the ones that have tried everything. They've tried every single therapy. They've tried healthy eating programs, or trying to change your mind programs, and it still hasn't worked. And she's gone through lots of self-help books, YouTube videos, blah blah blah, and they come to me because they all say I am their last hope, which is amazing, because that's what makes it even better, because I know that the reason why that other modalities haven't worked is because they only target the symptom. The symptom is the binge eating, the compulsion, the urges to binge, and eating when you're not hungry. It is a symptom of something that actually is going on inside. And the first session that we had, we actually got to the root of the binge eating, the comfort eating, the compulsions, and all those things that are related to her destructive eating behaviors. We got to it, and that's why she had an amazing transformation. Literally there and then, she has not binged, and in fact for weeks she kept messaging me saying, I just can't believe I'm not thinking about food, which is a big thing for her. One of the biggest things that she said to me as part of my interview, my screening call, that I always go through with every single of my clients, because I want to make sure that we are on the same wavelength. We are, because I know, for example, I will put in 100% effort into helping my clients, but I want to make sure that this is really what they want, because believe me or not, you get some people say that they want to change, but really they don't want to change. So that's what the screening call is about, them to get to know me, but also me finding out whether or not am I the right person for them, because some people just want to stay on diets forever. They want to have rules in their life, and that's not what I do. I want to be able to give people back the natural ability to eat according to their natural instincts, and we were all born to do that, and that's what I do. So after the screening, and after we'd done that, and she was reset, and in fact she's still kind of, after the transformation, after we do the session, it's really now life starts to unfold. You know, amazing thing happens when you when you discover what the root cause is, and when you release that block that is blocking you from doing the things that you want. And the easiest way to explain this is that when you're in this destructive eating cycle, you don't feel like you have any control. So when the urges come, you feel like you don't have a choice. You do have, like, people say, oh, you just choose to eat an apple or instead of that chocolate bar, or just choose to have this. But when you are in this like eating disorder, this warped kind of world that you're in with this binge eating and food thoughts in your head, there you feel like you don't have any choice. Okay, right, this bloody message thing keeps coming up saying that my live stream is experiencing issues. I don't know why, because I haven't got anything, so I hope it's still recording. So when people say just make a choice, it's easier said than done, because when you are suffering from binge eating disorder, or like food compulsion, so emotional compulsion, so emotional eating, for example, or you just have those urges and you can't stop yourself doing it because you've done it so many times, this is what I'm talking about. That is the control that's been taken away from you. But when you find the root cause, and what we do during our sessions, the choice is given back to you. And for a while, like I said, she was so dumbfounded by why she wasn't thinking about food. For the first time in 50 years, she would say she would wake up in the middle of the night and just think about what to eat. She would like make herself sandwiches and whatnot, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and like cook something up at 3 in the morning, even though she wasn't hungry. It's because she was constantly thinking about food. So that was all gone in just the one session, and she's been going from leaps and bounds since then. So it's been about 6 or 7 weeks since our session, and she's still transforming. She's naturally shedding excess weight, and like I said, she is a larger woman, and she knows that. And there's physical signs, even like her face is slimmed down, but it wasn't, you know, maybe perhaps the motivation was the weight at first, but the thing that really changed was how she felt about herself. She didn't even want to look at the mirror before. It was like she just was disgusted with the way she looked, the way she felt, and now she's like having lots of energy. She was like telling me the stuff that she was doing. So anyway, I didn't want to talk about her transformation. What I wanted to talk about today was she called me up. She messaged me today. Oh my God, Mel, I have had the biggest binge ever. So as soon as I heard this, I'm like messaging her back and said, do you want another session? I'm free. Luckily enough, I've like got nothing on today. Are you free the next hour? And let's talk about this. And luckily enough, she was also free. So part of the I don't like calling it service. It sounds so official. But when I offer to help people to stop years and decades of binge eating, I mean it. I stop, or I help my clients stop years and decades of binge eating. So it's not like I will give you a session to stop binge eating, which is a difference. Because when people work session for session, like talk therapy, let's come in, let's talk about this session, and then the hour will be up. Okay, see you next week then. We'll talk to you next week. Or you go to like traditional hypnotherapy services, they'll say, oh, I'm like £100 per hour, you know, and then the time's up. Oh, okay, then 1 hour is up. See you later. Let's hope it's all worked, you know, cross fingers and toes. Let's hope that works. No, I don't work like that. I work to make sure that every single one of my clients get the results that they want, get the goals that they want, and that is always my aim when we work together. So we don't go session by session, let's hope and cross and pray it works. I will not let you go, if you are my client, until you feel confident enough to live your life the way that you want to live life. But today she went, oh no, I had the biggest binge. So anyway, and because I know that everyone is different, everyone recovers differently, I know, it's not a big deal. I wasn't doing anything today, so I said, let's get on a call. Let's see what's happened here. So we got on the call, and something happened in her life, and it was really sad. And she said to me that the reason why she binged is because she was so hurt and she was so desperate to feel better. And as it happens, when we dug in deeper to the actual binge, she actually didn't binge as per se, not like the way she used to binge before. And before she said that her old binges, and now she's calling it the old binge, was like to call Uber, or I think it's like Just Eat. She says she would call Just Eat and she would order everything on there. She said she didn't even think to phone anyone up or any one of those services up to have a binge. She literally binged on what was in the kitchen, and it was just healthy foods. And I said, so what's the problem, with that then? She goes, because she started to feel really full, after she'd eaten like a couple of plates or something, she got really full. And she said that was one thing. And I was so conscious about eating beyond my hunger. But she said, this is quote, I'm kind of paraphrasing here because I don't really know remember exactly what she said, but it was somewhere along the lines that she said, I almost wanted to test to see if it still worked. Remember that, to see if it still worked. What she would realize that she consciously binged on more foods that was already in the cupboards to see if it had the same effect as it did before. Because before, she said, like before working with me, that would work. It would work because the binges served a purpose. It used to numb her out. And because she was so numb through years and years and years and decades of binging, and because she'd already like built this, this level of hunger where she was continuously eating all the time. She said the amount of food that she used to eat, she didn't even feel. So she was able to binge properly. But this time, she said she could feel all the food that she was eating. And she said, actually, it was a kind of binge because I did eat over than what I should have eaten, because I started feeling it. And then I got to, she goes, she woke, she was in pain, and then she woke up in the middle of the night and she had she cooked herself a burger, and she said, that's it. That's enough now. That's what she said. That's enough. I've had enough. And the difference is, after we talked about it, is that she realized, really realized that binging did not help. She goes, she woke up the next morning in bloody agony, still in pain. She's drunk about 4 liters of water since the binge. And she said, all it's left me is I woke up in the morning, I still feel shitty. The problem's still there. Apart from, I just feel physically shitty now. And I said, well, Didn't you know that before? I'm sure you weren't that, I'm not like calling you stupid, but doesn't everyone know that? Didn't you know that when you were binging before, it didn't help? She goes, yeah, I knew it didn't help, but I didn't feel it. I was completely numb. So I thought just eating more I just felt numb anyway. But now I could feel the food. And I feel shit. She would say, I feel shit. And I said, so do you think you have taken anything away from this? And she goes, oh yeah, I won't be doing that again. And I'm like, well, you did it yesterday. What makes you sure you're not going to do it now? And she goes, because I feel it now. I consciously know that it doesn't help. And that is what happens when you deal with what is really going on. When you stop numbing yourself completely with food and you release whatever that is, blocking you from doing the things that you want to do, you'll start getting that feeling back. You start getting those connections back in your body. And even if you wanted to binge, your body will refuse to have it. And she said, and I said to her, are you sure? What makes you think you're not going to do that again? She goes, well, because I just realized, I just had an epiphany that food doesn't solve anything. It doesn't matter what happens. But no chocolate bar, she said, no chocolate bar in the world is going to make me feel better. It's just going to make me feel sick. And the difference is, even though she knew this logically before we started working together, and I'm sure many of you lot out there who've been trying different modalities, been trying therapy and everything, you know logically that it doesn't make you better. But because you're so friggin' numb, it doesn't matter, because you can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. It really doesn't matter. Even though you think it's painful, it's not connected. Your body and mind is not connected. And the funny thing is that even though it was a binge, she said it was almost like I had to test drive what has happened in our first session. It was almost like, because I've had this binging for so long, it's been part of me for over 50 years, I almost had to test drive it. Almost like, those things where you have to test a product and you have to like pick it up and drop it from like 50 feet up in the air to make sure it, it's so robust, and you crash a car into a wall to make sure the car survives. And she said, I feel like I've done it. I've tested it. And now I know for sure that I won't binge. Not for emotions, not to solve a problem. And it just makes my heart jump with joy when my clients get that breakthrough, that epiphany. And the funny thing is, she said as soon as she said that, she had this funny tingling on the top of her head. Not all my clients have the same thing. She has like, she's very connected with the energy. Her hand started warming up. It was so funny. It was so it was amazing just to see her transform. And I said, so, are we gonna have any more problems? How are you feeling? She goes, fantastic. So even though she had a binge yesterday, it turned out to be quite an epiphany for her. So I wanted to share that, as it happened, because I was really super excited for her epiphany and how she overcome that. Not overcome the epiphany, but how she overcome the pain and the hurt that she was going through. And she hasn't overcome it really. She has come to just a realization that no matter what she tries to do to help, the pain, food is not going to help her. And she said, yeah, it hurts. It really hurts. And I'm just going to have to live with that pain and hurt. But doesn't mean I have to eat. She even looked at me. She go, it doesn't make sense. She was like, she's very like visual. She's like, emotion and food. Emotion and food. I can't seem to make the connection. I absolutely love her. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I hope, I hope some of this story is kind of inspired you to maybe make some changes in your life, or I don't know. I'm just here to help you start the cogs working in your mind, because I do believe all the answers that you need to recover successfully from years and decades of self-sabotage is already inside you, waiting to be released. So until next time, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if you have sent me messages, I'm really sorry, but I don't see any of them while I'm on live, and I'll answer them as soon as I come off. So until next time, keep strong. Bye bye.